I think all of them deserve to be in prison. And then
Let
you
me
have
ask
to
you something
stand
though.
before. Yeah, I'm done, y'all. But have to stand
Uh,
before him, and then he then think he's gonna give you a clean plate. That's not gonna
since
happen.
you since you've been in politics and government and stuff like that, is it true that the judges are supposed to interpret the law, not interfere with what Trump is doing? In a sense, like if he's making decisions to stop funding this or stop funding that, is that within his power? And the judges aren't really supposed to step in that. That's what I think. That's what she was trying to say is the judges are overstepping their power by not interpreting the law. They're actually interrupting what he's doing. They shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, like one of the laws said actually that he has to put up transgender. So he removed a lot of that transgender stuff from the government websites. One of the judges just came back and said that Trump has to re-put up the transgender stuff on the government page. Now, why is a federal judge telling the president of the United States what he can put on the website? Now, I think he has a case. They have a case. The Democrats have a case for the birthright citizenship. So when Trump first passed that executive order about birthright citizenship, I believe that it would be challenged and rightfully so because there's the debate on the birthright citizenship. But most of these other executive orders were in Boston, New Jersey, and these judges are very liberal. And I believe it's important that as a judge that you're independent and non-biased. I don't think it would be right for them to take Joe Biden or Obama and put them in Florida for a crime they committed. Do you know why? Because you're going to get a 98% Republican jury. That's like what happened with Jim Crow. Y'all remember Jim Crow? How did Emmett Till get off? How in the world do you have somebody who had all these witnesses, but they were all white jurors in the South and with a judge that was racist? So I believe that it's important what your judges. I believe it's important what jury pool you get your jury out, get your jury out of, and I believe it's important if the judge has a conflict of interest. What is his voting record? Did he vote for Democrat or Republican? Because we try to say we're not biased, even though we voted for one person, but it's almost impossible not to be. If I was a judge, I wouldn't be. I would be very biased.
I just want to say he
Go ahead,
talked
Gabe.
about these judges who are so liberal. Three of them were nominated by Reagan, or two of them nominated by Reagan. The other one was nominated by Trump. Some of them birthright citizenship. The other one was talking about the 3,000 workers he wanted to fire. There's a whole list of these guys who went out there. Some of them went back to Bill Clinton, to Obama. But it's not just liberal judges that are stopping him because they know that he's overreaching his power. It's just people not willing to kiss his ass and follow along with his overreach of power and his agenda to just get back. To get his trying to get his get back with the lawfare, and he was unjustly this and all that and the whole tirade. But y'all have to be real here, man. He just doesn't have the power to do all these things, and these judges doing this that's their job. They're supposed to put in these injunctions. They're supposed to stop you when you're doing things that need to be reviewed by law. We just can't let a president write an executive order and do whatever he wants at the cost of American people. It's just not the power. It's just not how the power structure works. Our federal judges have the right to protect the citizens, and that's what they're doing. They're protecting 3,000 jobs. They're protecting and if I wasn't mistaken, it is what was it? The transgender about transgender individuals being sent to transfer transgender women to their men's right. This was done by a guy who was nominated by Reagan, Royce Lamberth. He's been a judge since '87. So even one of the oldest Republicans you probably still have kicking denied Trump and a trans issue. Like, he just doesn't have the right to do that because these things need to be questioned and reviewed for the safety of Americans, whether you believe in their existence, their gender, or what they identify as. Regardless, people need to be protected. That's just it.
Easy. Do you think these judges are overstepping their power?
Yeah, I feel like they're trying to attack the Constitution. I feel like they're trying to modify it. I mean, maybe it does need to be modified because how long ago was that shit made? Well, part of my language. I mean, that was made a long time ago. So maybe the Constitution does need some modification. That's how I feel about it. And Jordan said everything, and K. Dot said everything. So, hey,
But I have to put in this. Why is it? Well, first of all, the 3,000 jobs. We can break down each individual case. The 3,000 jobs. Okay, for instance, one of the executive orders put a halt on Trump freezing, and he was going to freeze all government spending except Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. Trump was elected by a landslide. To say that again, because he won states he shouldn't have won. Because one of the things he ran on was actually Doge and auditing the government. He said he was going to drain the swamp. He was going to shut down the Department of Education. He was going to audit the government. He was going to balance the budget. He ran on these things. And the American people are behind him. His approval rating is higher than it ever has been. 56% of Americans think that Trump, and he's more popular than he was during the first term. His approval rating is higher than when he got elected. 70% of Americans think he's doing everything he promised that he was going to do. So the American people are behind this. And yes, like I said, the birthright citizenship, I'll give you that there's some interpretation on birthright citizenship. But I do believe Trump wants to challenge the premise that a person can come over here illegally and then they can have a child and that gives them citizenship. So that's like a person I used to work at Walmart. That's like a person manipulating the system. That's like a person going into a Walmart, stealing something, and then saying, I have kids, you can't arrest me. No, DCF is coming and you're going to jail. And so they shouldn't get citizenship because they marry an American or because they broke the law. When you come over here illegally, you broke the law. Period. Our laws, everybody has laws around their border. Everybody. China, everybody. Israel, everybody has borders. And so we are all of a sudden supposed to let everybody in our country, murderers, criminals, terrorists, they all supposed to come in. We're supposed to shut up, and we're just supposed to no. And so a lot of those illegal immigrants are manipulating the system. They come over here, they find an American to have to marry, or they come over here and have children, so that when they have children, they'll get citizenship, and that should be challenged. Now, if your parents are over here and they're legal and they have children, they should stay. But if your parents are an illegal immigrant that maybe committed a crime and they have a baby, that child should not get citizenship in this country. That child needs to go back to where he came from with his parent.
What I want to add about the video, Volga, is the three branches of government. So it has to be checks and balances. So Trump says, that's what you was about to say. Trump is the executive, so you got a legislative branch and a judicial branch. They're supposed to do checks and balances on the other branches. Oh, they're supposed to check each other. That's the only thing that I would add to that.
So, and that's what I was asking, because I feel she has a point, because what she's trying to say is, I've heard a few other people say that judges shouldn't be stopping Trump for doing certain things. Like if he has permission to do it, or if it's within his power, do it. And what I mean by that is like him cutting funding to a certain program. These judges feel like, okay, these people are getting hurt, so they're stepping in. That's overstepping their boundary, because of all they're supposed to do is interpret the laws on the books or add new laws, maybe. But they're really supposed to interpret the laws on the book and decide if he broke that law, then they can stop it. If he didn't break the law, it don't matter if somebody's going to suffer from it. They shouldn't be stepping in if he didn't break the law. And that's what she's trying to say, is he's doing things within his power. People don't like it. The judges don't like it, but they're being emotional and making emotional decisions by stopping it. That's what she's trying to say that he's doing, just to bring it down on, layman's terms.
I agree.
And I kind of feel like a lot of the stuff that they're doing is emotional. It is an emotional liberal decision that they're making. Like, oh, these people are hurt, so we got to stop it. No, if Trump has the authority to do it, y'all shouldn't be stepping in. Like you said, the birthright citizenship, the courts are determining what that means, what that law means. And if they determine that Trump can't override that because it's a law and it means these people get it, then they get it because the judges said this is the law. You get what I'm trying to say?
But that's where you're being disingenuous, because he doesn't have the power to do it. That's why they can challenge him.
He has the power to cut. he has the power to cut funding programs.
No, he doesn't. He's not the purse. He's not Congress. He doesn't have the power to cut funding.
He is to allocate where the money
no,
goes.
he doesn't.
Yes.
He does not have the power to do that. That is not the president's job. That's why they can challenge him in court for it. They have to find if he has grounds to be able to do that. If not, it continues on. He has the power to rename an executive office like the U.S. Digital Service to Doge. He has the power to do that because it's underneath him. Nobody can challenge him on that. He has the power to make Elon the head of Doge as a special government employee and not an elected official. He can do that. He can appoint people to certain positions underneath his branch. He can appoint the FBI. He can appoint whoever he wants. That's fine. But to stop the federal spending after it's already been approved is not his jurisdiction. That falls underneath Congress. They are the purse. That's why they can stop him. That's just the law.
Even if it's corrupt.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it. Listen, that's not the argument. The argument isn't about corrupt. Now you're talking about feelings and what you think is corrupt.
No, it's not. It's not
Hold
feelings.
on. Listen, you don't have any proof. No one has been arrested.
Yes.
Who's been arrested for fraud? Who's been arrested for fraud?
I don't have it on here, but I can sure send it to you, sir. That
Send it.
Elon Musk, they have been doing audits and they have so much corruption and so much fraud. They've been arrested? Very honest. It's been on all the TV.
No, it hasn't. No, it hasn't.
It has.
Listen. Give me one name of one person who's been caught doing fraud.
No, I'm saying that they have uncovered fraud. In USA, they have uncovered millions of dollars in fraud.
So where is the fraud? What is the fraud? Where did the money say it was going that it didn't end up?
I can give you one of FEMA. They just
how was FEMA lying?
They gave the $52 million to illegals.
Where is FEMA at? Who's over FEMA?
You asked for.
I'm asking you who's, but I'm telling you why it's not fraud. I'm telling you why it's not fraud. Who's over FEMA?
Do what?
Who's over FEMA?
You tell me who's over FEMA.
The Department of Homeland Security, which is the border, which they get funding to take care of illegals.
They don't get any funding.
Yes, they do.
They funded that against Trump's wishes.
No.
They did. And
Congress passed money to go to the Department of Homeland Security, which is the border, which they are in charge of FEMA, and they allocate funding to take care of illegal people.
You're the only one that didn't see all the money that's been basically distributed to these other countries behind our back. You're the only guy
that's not distributed behind our back. That's called
Americans are not okay with that. I'm on Facebook. I'm on TikTok.
I don't care. Your opinion doesn't listen. No, you don't have to be okay with it. Bro, I understand you don't. You may not like that the money was sent here to help LGBTQ. Go ahead, brother.
Senator Kennedy gave a press conference 2 days ago in regards to the funding that was found that they've been spending, and he didn't even know about it. He was shocked himself. His exact words was, "I've been in this game for 8 years. Elon Musk has been in this thing for a week, and look at what he found." He started off like that.
What does that mean?
And then he went down the line of all the funding that's been going out that the American citizens had no clue about. That's a problem, bro.
I understand. Okay, so I will give you, maybe you don't like where they're sending the money. That's fine. You don't like what they're funding in foreign relations. That's fine. It's not, hold on, but it's not fraud.
But you should, it's fraud if you don't know about it.
No, it isn't. If you paid your taxes and the government is allowed to use tax dollars to invest in other countries for foreign relations, that's what the government has been set up to do.
Schools, bro.
Again, that's called foreign relations. That's exactly what y'all don't like. It's because you don't like what it's funding. If it was funding missiles, I don't like
the fact that we're in debt.
Everyone's in debt. That's the way it works.
Everybody's not in $38 trillion in debt. That's not true. China is not in the type of debt that we're in. That's not true.
Okay, everyone's in debt. I didn't say they're not in greater debt or lesser. I just said everyone's in debt.
If we keep on going the way we are, we're going to have an economic collapse. Because one thing I know, I used to be a high school teacher. I've studied history, and I'm telling you, America, if Trump did not get elected and we continue to spend money the way we are, we'll be just like the Roman Empire, where they were so much debt that their entire civilization, their entire civil, we can't keep spending money. We cannot continue to do it. It is impossible. If you ran your household the way that our government runs
Mhm.
our house, the country,
So,
we would all be homeless.
so how does a government? So how does a government get funding then?
The taxpayer.
Okay, so why is he giving everyone a gigantic tax cut? How
Who?
does that help Trump? Why would he
The way
lower the
it
tax rate?
helps is because when people pay less taxes, they
Mhm.
spend more money.
When
Facts.
people pay
When
less
I get
taxes, they
more,
spend more money.
if I'm a person and I get
Mhm.
$6 or $7 extra $100 on my check each
Mhm.
month because
Mhm.
I'm gonna go spend money. I'm gonna go
Go spend
grocery
money.
shopping more.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go out and go get stuff. That's why
Mhm.
tax cuts are better.
And
Do
But
that's
people?
what's
the
not
economy.
better is
Right.
what they're doing, which is pimping and prostituting us. People like Chuck Schumer, who is worth $81 million and
Uh-huh.
their salary is $100,000 a year. How in the world are you
Mhm.
a congressperson and you go into office making $100,000 a year? Trump
Mhm.
is, and people want to talk about Trump. Trump is the only person his salary who got less going into office. He
This
lost
is
money.
this was
Elon Musk is
great.
losing money doing this.
This was great gish galloping, but it's not to the point. That the simple fact
It is to the point. It's saying
it's
this.
not.
You might be making a good point. You're
There you
making
go again.
what you're saying is this. Basically, because they have the right to send your money, because they're in office, they have the right to send your money where they want to send it. But the American people voted for Donald Trump and they said
Mhm.
we want to end of it. We want the
Okay,
end of it.
you want to end it, right? So why didn't Trump end it during his first term? Why didn't the Republicans that you voted for not? So the Republicans have been in Congress for like 8 years. They've been in charge, roughly 8 years. They have approved every single dollar that is left out of this country.
Oh, sir. Listen, I'm not, like I said, that's why I told you, I'm an independent thinker. I am not, listen, listen, I got Republicans in my city don't like me.
Right.
If a Republican is corrupt, I'm
Mhm.
going to call out
But
Republicans
Trump signed
corrupt.
off on the fraud.
And they are corrupt. Any of them that did are
Wait,
corrupt.
so then
And
Trump's corrupt.
who?
Trump.
I
Okay,
said
guys,
there's a lot of
let's
no.
move along. Vulgar, go ahead.
Hey, you know what? It was good conversation. I'm letting
Yeah.
them go through. So I guess another question I could ask: do y'all think a lot of what's been found, a lot of these things that have been funded, do you think politicians have been doing this to skim money off the top of it?
What was your question? Somebody got feedback. I think it was easy. Go ahead. What was your question? Easy, your jacket, bro. It's making a lot of noise.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, Vulgar.
Do y'all think a lot of these things that have been funded, that those just finding, are things that politicians are putting in place to skim money off the top?
Absolutely.
Just like what he was saying with like Chuck Schumer
Yeah.
coming away with 81 million. That's what it sounds like to me. I feel like a lot of these stuff that Congress is passing with the debt ceiling and passing new debt, they're taking a lot of it off the top. Ukraine being an example where, was it Zelensky said that he didn't get all the money? But I don't know if it was KDOT or something saying that the money doesn't go straight to them. It's in like arms and weapons and stuff like that.
Jay said that on Monday.
Oh, Jay, yeah. But that's, if y'all think that's a thing, go ahead and talk on it.
Yeah, I just want to add real quick. This is the thing out, man. I've been listening.
You muffled a little bit.
I start to notice that you mentioned the Republican Party a lot. You go back to Reagan, and you mentioned a lot of things that the Republicans do. I want to let you know straight up. I know not all Republicans are on the up and up.
Yeah.
Trump's first term actually proved that. That's where the term rhinos came about. With that being said, I used to be a Mike Pence fan until J6. Mike Pence had a job to do. He didn't do that job. You see what I'm saying? So I understand what you're saying, but I don't basically represent all Republicans. I represent Republicans that's doing the right thing. And there's a lot of them that, again, he has to drain the swamp.
Mhm.
That's where this comes about. So his first term, he didn't really know who was really for him, but he knew how many people was against him. And on J6, he really knew how big the blanket was. He knew how many people was in this swamp. So going forward, I see that this man has fought for everything, and I've never seen a president move like he moved. I've never seen him take the adversity, and this is bigger than him. You know what I mean? That's why I fight for him, because I know it's bigger than him. And he's looking at it longevity-wise, grandchildren. He has a legacy. And he's not going to be the man to destroy this country. It's going to be the total opposite. Trust me.
Great. You got anything to add? You've been quiet.
Basically, I understand like what you guys are saying when y'all saying like, okay, we can't trust politicians. Like, there's a video that we did a while ago. Hey, easy, stay muted. Your jacket making too much noise. But I don't know if we can say, hey, they're stealing this money until we can like show, okay, they're taking this money, because I am like with campaign donations and with everything like that, we don't know what they spend the money on.